welcome back to Well Played, presented by The Skim. I'm Caroline Hendershot.
And I'm Blake Morgan. We have a great guest coming up later in the show today, Miss Allison Kuch.
Yes.
Of Sunday Sports Club podcast, also of NFL Wagnum, I should say.
Yeah, but it's more so like her hab is Isaac Rochelle.
At this point, yeah.
Who happened to play in the NFL.
Literally, yes. And
Yeah.
we talk about that. It's just, she's kind of, I would say, eclipsed him in the fame.
Totally.
In the fame
I think
arena,
he
which
and
he
openly
likes it.
supports.
And he likes it.
Yeah.
So you should stick around for that.
Yeah, she was great.
So Caroline and I, fun story. When we were in Tampa, we went to this event with Knicks, as you guys know, and there was another agency that helped put the event on, and we met somebody through the agency. His name is Christian.
Oh, sweet Christian.
And sweetie Christian, he clocked our tea. He was like, I kind of like your vibe. And so he invited us to his company's annual black tie event.
You know these bitches love to get dressed up.
It's us. It's bitches. We're bitches.
It's us. I also said to one follower that I was going to try to swear less, and here we are, hot off the presses.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. We're working on it.
And so we went on Thursday. We got dressed to the nines, got our little glam done, had a couple martinis.
Yeah. I also was like having one of everything. I was having
did.
one Cosmo, one margarita,
I think
one
martini.
One spritz. I was like literally trying everything. I don't know what was wrong with me. I think I just like couldn't find my my go-to.
Yeah.
It wasn't hitting in the way that I wanted it to.
It was very swanky, but all the drinks I remember you were like, it's just something missing.
Yeah.
I, for one, really loved the dirty martini there.
Yeah.
I like want to go back and see if it hits the same way.
Yeah, me too.
It was so good to me.
It was very tasty.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had such a fun time. You know I love to get dressed up. So
and we were just chit-chatting. The girls were gabbing.
Any chance I have to get dressed in a full-length gown, you dial my number. I'm there.
I'm dialing your number right now.
Yeah.
I know you have stories to tell me, but I just wanted to say I'm dialing your number right now because, as you might know, everybody, but especially Caroline, my birthday's on Halloween.
Oh, yes.
Did I tell you what my theme is going to be this year? Yeah. So my theme, guys, this year is going to be everybody has to wear the thing in their closet that they're like, this is too fancy. I don't know where to wear this. So
I need to like get a fur coat.
Yes.
Just for this occasion.
Yes.
Yeah, love that.
So start thinking. Anyway,
okay,
stories.
I'll start brainstorming. Okay, this story really quickly. I just had to share my trauma with you because this was completely off topic, but I thought that it kind of related in a sense because, you know, I always thought that I had a really good pain tolerance because of sports. Like, rowing was quite literally the hardest thing that I had ever done. It was so physically taxing that I was like, there can't be anything harder than this. Childbirth aside, because that is its own sport.
But we're not there yet.
Yeah. not in the cards. So I obviously planning for my wedding. I can't shut up about it, but I was like, okay, my armpits. When I shave my armpits, hear me out. Hear me out. Follow along. When I shave my armpits, I like the stubble grows back so fast. It's the Italian in me. You know, I can't help it. And I have dark hair, clearly. And so I was like, I had waxed once before and had like a bad reaction to it because my skin's so sensitive. So I was like, you know what? My college roommate used an epilator. So I'm going to get an epilator and not really thinking anything of it.
Those things are like look like torture devices.
It is.
Yeah.
I went to war. I literally went to war last week against myself on my own body. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to like, and I just like didn't even test it on like my leg or anything. I was just like, armpit, here we go. Because I knew it was going to probably be like uncomfortable. Oh my God. Sorry, I just like ate the mic.
She literally grabbed it. She OG Ananobi'd that mic.
But like, no one warned me. No one warned me nearly enough how painful epilators are. However, does a great job. So that is the problem. I feel as though I now have, what's it called when you start to like feel bad for your kidnapper? Stockholm syndrome. I have Stockholm syndrome with the epilator because like it did such a good job. My armpits were like mwah, pristine that I was like, ooh, I know, but have to keep using
so
this.
Here's the thing, and I'm sorry guys to derail so much this morning, but I have to talk because I was also thinking about waxing and stuff. I was like, oh, it's summertime. Yeah. So last year, not to be like really TMI, but I'm just going to share it because I love you and I care about you. And if you have been waxed before,
it hurts.
We have something in common. I did get a Brazilian last year.
Yeah.
Sugar though, not regular wax.
Interesting.
And that stuff, obviously, I think it probably is more painful than the epilator.
I don't know about that.
I think, however, what makes it better, and this is going to sound so weird, but it's just like somebody is doing it to you.
Yes.
Versus you are doing it to yourself with the epilator.
Well, like, you know, you can't inflict pain on yourself. Like it's part of your mind.
No, but you are though.
No, but like it's not in the same way. Like you can't do
kind
it.
of like how you can't tickle yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can't do it in the same way that someone else can.
Right.
Like without kind of
there's like
your brain knows what's coming. You know?
Yeah. But also I was thinking about it. I was like sometimes I get really bad migraines, and I found that like getting waxed, it would just take all of my headache away, probably
because you're focusing on the pain.
But it's kind of nice. In a sadistic kind of way.
Totally.
Conversations I'm revisiting for summertime. But you're pro epilator.
Pro, but like take it with a freaking grain of salt because holy shit, no one warned me enough.
And you did it before the party?
Yes, that's why.
Is that the tie-in?
And that's why I wanted to tell you at the party, and then I was like,
you could have.
I was like, there's way too many people.
No,
around.
You could have.
No.
Also, my grandma gifted me an epilator once, and I'm like, what are you trying to say? What's the message you're sending?
You should try it and then get back to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's actually get into it because I'm sure people are tired of hearing about my...
For the record, Sean is not in studio with us today.
Yeah.
He's not even like monitoring us, so we're going fully rogue today.
Yeah, so if we're going off on tangents, it's because the parents aren't home and we're throwing a party. Yes. So that's why.
Before we dive into today's topics, though, please make sure you're following The Skim. Make sure you're following Caroline at CG Hendy. Make sure you're following me at BLAA's4KSE. Babe. I almost said the B word.
Nice,
and
but
I
you
changed
didn't.
to a babe.
God, my beautiful sister calls me every Tuesday when we're recording. I can't stand her. Love her, but oh my God, literally like clockwork.
Sarah and I are friends on Strava.
I know. Oh my God.
And on Instagram.
Wow, you're really progressing your relationship.
I know.
Okay, also make sure you're checking out our full-length video of this and every other episode on YouTube. Or if you're an audio listener, just make sure you are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, liking, subscribing, commenting, sending us very pleasant DMs. Mm-hmm. You know the gist. Okay, let's get into it, into our Playing the Field.
Ooh, guys. Okay, so we're kicking off today's Playing the Field with yet another story about Jordyn Hudson, girlfriend of NFL coaching legend Bill Belichick, who reportedly was banned from the UNC football facilities this week. We should say that Jordyn was reportedly banned, not Bill Belichick. That would be kind of crazy if their head coach was like not allowed to step on that turf.
Yeah, that would probably complicate things. Okay, so according to a report from Pablo Torre on his Pablo Finds Out show, multiple sources confirmed that UNC officials told Hudson she was forbidden from visiting locations where the Tar Heels football team congregates.
Yeah, but then UNC was like, no.
Yes, they came
rebuked
out.
That statement. Mm-hmm. They said that she's actually a welcome guest. Saying while Jordyn Hudson is not an employee at the university or Carolina Athletics, she's welcome to the Carolina football facilities. They went on to say Jordyn will continue to manage all activities related to Coach Belichick's personal brand outside of his responsibilities for Carolina football and the university. What do we think is the truth? Because Pablo is like, no.
He stood his ground.
He stood on business. He's like, they're wrong. They're lying to you.
Yeah.
I have sources. He's been talking to the family members, I hear. Uh-huh. So why are you smiling like that?
I just think you can't make this up out of thin air.
Yeah,
you know?
right?
And I also think that because it got out, they were like, shoot. And then they backtracked almost, like they didn't expect it to get out or something. Like maybe an NDA was signed of some sorts. I don't know. But it's just very hard to believe that something like this just kind of poofed out of midair, you know? Poofed. Appeared.
I agree. Also, we got libel training at work a couple weeks ago. So I'm like, I feel like Pablo it must be true, because I feel like this could potentially, not to put my journalism hat on, but like this could potentially enter like libel territory because like her getting banned from the facilities would be harmful to her reputation, I think. Yeah. You know, if that story came out
whether
and wasn't true.
Whether it's true or not, there had to be something there that spurred this on. So like there has to be some truth to it, you know?
But also, don't you think that don't you think that UNC at this point, given all the hubbub and the storylines, just all the drama really, for better or for worse, like don't you think they would have pulled the plug on her by now? Like because I don't know, like.
Well, but okay, let's think about it practically. How do you actually pull the plug on a girlfriend of a head football coach who is probably the highest paid employee in the state of North Carolina?
I did see that.
Like, practically, how do you actually ban her? Like, that's not going to happen because it's not like you're willing to get rid of Bill Belichick.
Right.
So it's just like that wouldn't actually work out in practice.
And you kind of just have to take I don't want to say that it's bad fully, but take the bad with good, right?
Yeah.
Because you're right. They're not going to get rid of him.
Yeah. So it's interesting. And then this weekend, Belichick was spotted supporting Hudson at the Miss Maine competition, where she came in third place or second runner-up, depending on who you ask. But we listened to the Sports Gossip Show podcast with Madeline Hill and Charlotte Wilder, who were boots on the ground at the
Pulitzer
Miss Maine
Prize-winning
competition.
journalism.
Yeah, truly like A+ from those two
It was
ladies.
so cute. It felt like something I would do. It was more than cute, though. It was also just like, it's a really good listen. You guys, I would highly recommend should listen. They also did like a video component with some behind the scenes footage.
Yep.
They weren't allowed to like take any videos in the actual pageant itself.
Yeah, it's just like pageant rules or something.
Yeah, they're like, if you want the pictures, you got to pay for them. It's like they compared it to being on like Splash Mountain at Disney World. I'm like, you got to pay for those pictures.
Exactly.
You want exclusive content.
Yeah.
And I liked how they mentioned it. It felt like an experience I could have had myself in a good way. Like I understood where they're coming from. They're like getting there, seeing Jordyn do her thing. It did humanize her beyond the headlines, which I think is a good thing. It also could be a slippery slope depending on who you're covering. And Bill was there front and center. Very little security, it seems. It was just like one guy, and
like Chad or whatever.
Yeah,
which
and
is
like,
hilarious.
He just like went up to the
Chad.
front desk and was like, "I'm here." He very loudly said he was there to basically protect Bill
and to make everything go smoothly. Which I'm sorry, did we learn nothing from the movie Notting Hill where you use code names?
That's what I'm saying.
Hello?
If he was a woman, this would be so different. Like a famous, you know what I mean?
You use a code name when you check in.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah. Sorry, Jordyn, that she didn't win though. But the more that the reason why we keep covering this story too is just because it's gone beyond just sports people giving a shit.
Yeah.
Like my coworker who does not care about sports at all was like, "So what do you think the whole Bill and Jordyn situation?" I'm like, do you even know who this man is? Like, I'm surprised.
It's crazy.
It is. The thing that I think gets me about it is just it's like the power dynamics, but also like, when has there ever been, aside from maybe like Kardashian Jenner, when has there ever been a positive outcome from like a significant other managing their significant other or like a family member, like a momager? I don't know. Momagers can be a little crazy, but like significant other territory,
that's tough.
it's hard.
Yeah. And here's the thing though, like in that industry, you want someone who you can count on and who you can like know has your best interest in mind. But they have to have that like proper training, you know, that I think that's the biggest difference.
Yes. And you know what? I didn't know this because I was so curious about the story. So I read a little further because I was like, Bill has gone through this whole career kind of also being not great with the press. So he must have had
part of his shtick.
Yes, famously. And it's like he must have had someone who was running the show behind the scenes. And so I was like looking into it. And so Front Office Sports did a fun little write-up about how he is now missing his secret weapon, this guy named Burj Najarian. Do you know who this man is?
No idea.
He was like his they compared him to like his consigliere, his right-hand man, kind of like his Christopher Moltisanti to his Tony Soprano.
Gotcha.
And he would just take on all this shit that Bill didn't want to do so he could focus on doing the football.
Yeah.
And what is the difference between Burj and Jordyn is like, first of all, Burj is like probably in his 50s at this point.
Has a lot of experience.
Has a lot of experience.
Yeah.
You know, and I understand what she's trying to do. Like, there are clear angles for her. She could get her bag. She's got her bag. She could get a leg up by being next to literally like one of the most, maybe even the most renowned man in football besides like an actual player. And to me, it's kind of like, it's on, I don't know. I feel like it's on Bill for letting his legacy just
I know, but sometimes you're blinded by love. So I get it. I know.
Really?
It's not wise, but like sometimes you are. And like, I don't know. I just think as he enters this new chapter, maybe he was like, okay, I'm willing to try something different. But we do have to mention, he's giving another interview on Friday.
God, guys.
On Good Morning America. So make sure you guys are tuned in because it's going to be with Michael Strahan, who, okay, former football player. So like maybe there's a little bit different vibe there because the level of respect is different. Like, not that the interviewer and the reporter was disrespecting him, but it's just like
familiarity.
And like you were in the same industry for so long, you know how big of a deal Bill Belichick was.
That could go in the other direction though, because some people are like, will he just give him some softball questions?
Probably.
And not go hard enough.
Probably.
Although, I don't know.
So we'll see.
I wonder if like the sports betting apps or any of these betting apps are going to be like, will Jordan Hudson be there? Yes or no?
There's got to be. Come on.
What do we think?
I'm not a bettor, famously.
Right. Well, you're not allowed to be, right?
Correct. But if I think she will be there, but in the back, like in a back room, kind of out of the line of sight.
Yeah, probably for the best. We'll see, guys. We'll definitely be covering that, I'm sure, next week.
Okay, next up on Playing the Field, we have to talk about boxer Tommy Fury getting back with his ex Molly Mae from Love Island UK.
This is a you story, and I need you to like walk me through this.
Okay, I want you to look at this picture. Okay. Everyone at home looking at the picture.
Okay,
that picture.
Can I just describe it for our audio listeners? So it's a man and a woman, presumably Tommy Fury
and Molly
Mae, 2 large suitcases, and there's a baby, a toddler in a stroller with a baby doll.
What's wrong with this picture, Blake?
She's like wrangling everything. Like she has the suitcase in tow. She's also the one like fussing with the stroller. Toddler's looking a little antsy too, and Tommy Fury is just strolling along.
Okay, remember that. So Tommy Fury has 1 suitcase. Molly Mae is pushing the stroller and another suitcase, and she's also like handling the child. Okay, just remember that.
Oh, I didn't clock the other suitcase. I'm listening though.
Okay. So Molly Mae recently came out with an episodic series called like Molly Mae Behind It All, and one of the episodes you can see her flirting via FaceTime with Tommy Fury.
Who is Molly Mae?
Molly Mae and Tommy Fury won 2019 Love Island UK, which anyone who watches Love Island UK knows that it's much better than US.
Right. I've heard this.
It's everything, mwah, chef's kiss. So Tommy Fury, brother of Tyson Fury, boxer, went on the show. They ended up winning Love Island, and they were dating after that. Then they got engaged in 2023. Beautiful, lovely, like just chef's kiss. Okay. Then last August in 2024, Molly posted that they broke up. And so the show got repurposed because it was originally supposed to be their wedding.
Oh.
Yep. And so the show got repurposed for like behind the scenes of Molly's life and her launching her first brand. Okay. So they posted that they broke up. There were rumors that Tommy cheated on her with this like Danish woman from like Macedonia or something. I don't know. There were a lot of rumors. Because there were some videos of him in the nightclub, whatever. Tommy comes out and is like, no way, not true. It's because of my drinking. Like, my drinking became a problem. And I'm like, I think
things could be true at once.
Exactly. Read my mind. So then this past New Year's Eve, they were spotted kissing. And people were like, they're coming back together. And as I have famously said, kissing is shaking hands. So, like, not a big deal.
Scott, we're sorry. I'm sorry.
That was Caroline in another life. So like not the biggest of deals, but then they were shown in like the airport coming back from like vacations together, you know, so it was just like,
and
okay.
that is their shared child.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Bambi. So anyways, they have officially announced that they're back together. And here's my thing. I am so happy for Molly Mae because she's like so freaking cute, and she was just magnetic on Love Island UK that for someone who wasn't even really invested in Love Island, didn't watch the season start to finish, I just became a fan of her.
Oh.
And she has like a huge following in the UK and the US. Happy for her. I want whatever is happiest in her mind. However, Tommy, you better start freaking carrying that luggage.
Step up.
Like, what the hell?
No, that's a bad picture.
Yeah. And he, like, to bring it back to sports, he did just win his first fight back in the ring since 2003, about like 4 days ago.
Since 2003?
Mm-hmm. I think maybe his drinking, like, really derailed him. So congrats,
Alcoholism
I
is a
guess.
disease. I understand.
Yeah. So congrats, I guess, because he does remain undefeated, 11-0. Okay. However, I want what's best for Bambi. I want what's best for Molly. And I just think, Tommy, you better be on your A game.
I think that if he steps it up in one aspect of his life, good things will happen in another aspect. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's just how it goes. Positive breeds positive.
Yep.
Thank you for tying that in a nice little bow for me, because I actually now do want to watch Love Island UK.
I think you could even just watch like the highlights of them, because there's a million episodes in each season, but they're just so cute and
you're
young
really putting
and
me on reality TV. I'm still in the middle of Summer House season 5. I'm a slow watcher.
Girl, this season is insane. You need to catch up.
So time for a little NBA roundup, because the second round of playoffs have continued. Mm-hmm. We had 2 big games last night. The New York Knicks beat the Celtics 121-113, bringing the series to 3-1.
You were boots on the ground for that.
I was boots on the ground for that. Well, not really in the stadium, but around. Meanwhile, the Golden State Warriors lost to the Timberwolves 117-110. That also brings that series to 3-1.
Meanwhile, A big rumor dropped yesterday in the NBA as Giannis Antetokounmpo, aka the Greek Freak, star forward for the Milwaukee Bucks, said that, well, I guess he technically didn't say, but his camp said that he may be open to exploring his options with other teams this offseason.
Yeah, following a disappointing first-round exit and a torn Achilles for his teammate Dame Lillard, the time might be right for Giannis to just start thinking about greener pastures.
Yeah.
But the thing is that you told me is that this conversation, perhaps much like the LeBron playing hard to get conversation, this conversation plays out often for Giannis after seasons. It's almost like a tradition. So like, it seems like this time people are actually like I even heard this weekend when I was at a party, these two boys were talking about sports, and they're like, because the Bucks, I forget what game was on, but they were just talking about Bucks because one of them was from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And they're like, so odds that like Giannis is on that bench next year, and they're like, they just start laughing. Like it seems like it's. The girls are scared.
Well, because this was like the first time I feel like there was real confirmation from league sources that said he was open-minded to like actually leaving the Bucks. I feel like in the past it's been a lot of teams being like, oh, what can we offer to kind of tempt the Bucks to trade him to us, whatever. But like he had the best season of his career and his team still got bounced in the first round for the third consecutive year. Like that's got to be anyone who is competitive, which obviously when you're that level of professional athlete, you are toxically competitive in a good way. That's what makes you you. You hate losing more than you like winning. You hate losing. Yeah. And so you can't really help that Dame tore his Achilles and was out. Like that might have changed things. But he has said it before. It doesn't matter what accolades he get, if he's in the Hall of Fame in the future. He said if he doesn't get his team a second ring, he will have let himself down.
Yeah.
So
I found that really interesting. Like none of the accomplishments that he has, you're right, like none of it makes up for not having that second ring.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Because like you could get all these personal awards like, oh, you're an All-American. Oh, you're a whatever team, first team, whatever. There's nothing better than winning it all.
And like with your team.
Yes.
Where he's played there his entire career.
Right.
Poor Giannis.
I know. So we'll have to keep a close eye on that.
So enough. Meanwhile, the Eastern Conference continues to be competitive, and one former player put his money where his mouth is, or should we say his robe where his mouth is, because after his former team dropped the first two games of their series, Mr. Paul Pierce decided, well, before they dropped the second game, he was like, if the Celtics do not win game 2, I am walking 15 miles to work barefoot in a robe from my house. I will wake up at the ass crack of dawn and I will get it done. Mind you, nobody on his team, like in the studio, they were like, no, don't do that. Like everyone was like, please don't. They're like, please don't. And nobody asked him to do this.
No.
He
was that confident. He said, put the house on this game. He was like that confident. And so they dropped another 20-point lead, and Pierce was proven wrong, and he had no choice, but he made good on his word. And I love a man on his word. Yeah. Because if you say something that crazy, and then you're like, I was just kidding. I'm not going to do it.
I mean, it's good for his brand, too. Like, it is. It made for a good social media
really did.
moment,
But walking 7 hours, woof.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He started at like, 5 a.m., and he ended at like 12.
Yeah.
Before days of work? Come on.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It was cute though. He had like friends along the way.
I mean, like, get your steps in. Hot girl walk of the century from him, but damn.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of high-profile NBA commentators, the most high-profile American athlete alive, Mr. Michael Jordan himself, is set to join the new NBA on NBC coverage as a special contributor. Jordan made the announcement himself yesterday via social media. This is his first time serving as a commentator.
Ever?
Like, yeah.
I'm like shocked because I feel like these players, especially the GOATs, get corralled into doing a lot of media.
Definitely more new age. I think.
This is a good learning.
Here's the thing. There is nothing that I will drop everything I'm doing and watch more than a Michael Jordan story on TikTok or Instagram or whatever. Whether it's like a former teammate telling a story or it's just like a clip from the series, whatchamacallit?
Last Dance.
Last Dance, thank you. I will drop everything to watch a Michael Jordan clip. The man was so crazy in the best way possible. That's what made him so successful. Like, he had a one-track mind. He was insanely competitive to a point where, like, definitely wasn't healthy, but like that's what made him him, and that's what made him so successful. He is so interesting to like hear about as an athlete. The way that he is going to despise the way that players are playing. He's going to have to hold himself back so much.
It's going to be like major unk vibes.
He's going to be like biting like his hand to try to not actually curse these players out.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. It's like I said, he's going to be an unk out there like shitting on these young bucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
if he's not allowed to tear them apart, he's going to be
it's going to be a struggle for him.
I have nothing to say. It's going to come off, I feel like, how people feel like Tom Brady has come across sometimes, where it doesn't feel authentic because they can't say what they're really thinking.
I feel like he's just gonna want to get on that court. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Let me show you guys.
Let me take the ball. I can prove it better.
We do have to talk about. I should have mentioned this when we were talking about the Eastern Conference, but like I want to talk about my experience last night watching the Knicks game, because truly there were so many celebs at this game.
Oh my God, it was insane.
It was
we were
wild.
kind of sending it back and forth, but I think the big names that obviously I cared about. Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet.
Okay, wait, but I watched the game.
Okay.
I didn't watch at MSG. There was like a fan experience that they have outside of MSG with these screens, but they were way too puny. There were so many people. So for basically the first 3 quarters, I was at this bar.
Yeah.
And when I saw Timothée Chalamet and Kylie pop up on the screen, I'm not even like major fans of them, but I just got so excited. I was like, oh my God, it's Timmy and Kylie. It was so weird of me. It was so weird.
No, I understand it.
And they didn't show Kendall. They said fuck Kendall.
Yeah, except Kendall was sitting right next to them.
Literally right next to them.
And they switched seats at one point. Kylie switched to be in the middle, and Timmy was on the end. And I was like, "That's come on,
yeah, she should
let me sit next to my sister."
Also, he was so locked into the game. All of the clips I've seen are just him basically stopping himself from getting on that court.
Totally, he's a true fan.
He is a true fan.
He skipped the Met to watch the game.
Right. We didn't even talk about that last week on the show.
Yeah.
Also, Cardi B and Stephon Diggs.
Okay, was I living under a rock? Did I not know that they were dating?
I was living under a rock. I had no idea.
Because they were holding hands going into that game. So, like, there's where there's smoke, there's fire.
Do you like Stephon Diggs?
I have no qualms with him.
Okay. You did like his outfit last week. I did know that about you.
I did like it. I thought he could have done better because I know he's very fashion forward.
They didn't pose together on that carpet, though. I don't think.
On the what carpet?
I'm going to need a fact check on that. On the Met Gala carpet.
Yeah,
like, I feel like I would have seen pictures of them together.
No, I kind of think so, too. So that's where I was like, interesting. And not for nothing, but I think like our football players are kind of going this route because Sauce Gardner recently launching an IG to become IG official with Ice Spice.
Yeah.
So I'm like, interesting. The boys are really into
music.
Their female rappers.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Love that.
But I had no idea about Cardi B and Stephon Diggs.
Girl, I had no clue either.
Yeah, so crazy.
Also, Jordyn Wood was there.
Jordyn Woods is dating Karl Anthony Towns, who is on the Knicks. So we were texting last night, and I was like, do you think Jordyn Woods is at the game? She's going to see Kylie because obviously Kylie was sitting courtside. Do you think they ran into each other? Then there was a clip that you sent me of them hugging after the game.
Like, we match every time.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I feel like I haven't. Obviously, they had their friendship ending tiff, and then they kind of rekindled it.
Okay, so I wasn't unfamiliar with that tiff, honestly.
You were unfamiliar with the
tiff. I used to be tapped into Keeping Up with the Kardashians when they were like super young, and then I kind of.
Well, Tristan Thompson famously cheated on Khloe with Jordyn Woods.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Where the fuck have I been?
Living under a rock. If I think I live under a rock, you really are.
I mean, we know that's about me.
Yes.
We know that's about me.
Yes. So famously cheated on Khloe
that
with
is
Jordyn,
crazy.
which was insane.
Guys, this is embarrassing for me. I'm sorry.
And Kylie obviously like took her sister's side, so they didn't speak for a while. And then I think they recently kind of rekindled. But they seemed like thick as thieves when they were
truly
back
they
together.
They were so giddy.
Yeah, so there's a lot of context there.
Okay, right.
Yeah. So the stars were out last night.
Yeah, my favorite Cardi B fact, which is not even truly about Cardi B, is that Cardi B and Ariana Grande are the same age.
That's crazy.
Doesn't Cardi B feel like older to you?
Yeah, but I think also Ariana feels younger because she's just like small and
she
like
has that like airy voice.
Yeah. So
she got that Galinda about her.
Yes, she does. She really do. Okie dokie. So we also have to talk about the NBA news last night. The draft lottery aired before the game tipped off, and the big winner of the night was the Dallas Mavericks.
Right.
In case you haven't heard, the crown jewel of this year's draft is Duke star Cooper Flagg, who is considered one of the best prospects in years and a potential generational talent.
Yeah, so the commentary I was seeing floating around this morning is that, like, well, Nico Harrison really fumbled the bag when he let Luka go.
Well, not when he let him go, when he actively traded him.
You're right.
And he became the biggest villain of all time.
Yeah, so it's like redemption era.
You're telling me the NBA draft lottery isn't rigged? LeBron said it when he went on the Pat McAfee show in a joking way, but you're telling me the team with 1.8% odds of getting the first pick got the first pick.
Caroline, is this something that people say?
You have a greater chance of pulling a specific card from a deck of cards. That is literally a 52 deck of cards is a 1.9% chance.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That's insane. It's rigged. Okay, obviously, like, conspiracy theorists, like, have always believed that it's rigged because, you know, back in the day, Patrick Ewing, the frozen envelope theory.
What is that?
People say that you used to reach in and pull out the envelope of the team's name who would pick first.
Right.
People believe that it was, like, frozen. The envelope was frozen so that
They knew?
Yeah. So that you would reach your hand in and you could feel it without it being obvious or looking different. They're like, oh, okay, this is the envelope I have to pick. Man. So, like, there's always conspiracy theorists going back. But come on.
Oh, my God.
And, like, I know that they have the lottery system and with the ping pong balls and it's all, like, supposed to be as random as it can. But I don't know. I'm just saying that seems pretty coincidental.
Yeah. I wonder what our listeners think. Tell us what you think. You think the draft lottery is rigged?
I'm ready to be the biggest NBA draft lottery conspiracy theorist of all time.
You're going to get put on a list or something.
Yeah.
Okay, one more story on Playing the Field in case you missed it. Aaliyah Guanyi, who is a defender for FC Como in Italy, sent a very clear message with a recent outfit on the field in the final match of her career.
She wore a jersey that had her resume printed on the front of her shirt, and the goal was to raise awareness about the difficulties women athletes face finding jobs after their professional careers end.
This is so real.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So she's 37 and could theoretically continue playing.
Yeah.
But it wasn't fully about her ability to play. It was more about the fact that she had, like, put her dreams of being a mom on hold, or just, like, expanding her family
as
on
many
hold.
female athletes have to do.
Exactly.
And many women have to do.
Exactly. Not even athletes. This is something that all women have to face.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. It's really hard. So she said, after a career on the pitch, we women footballers are forced to stop and face a void. We don't have clear pathways into professional life, and we can't stop working. Yeah, it's crazy because men aren't really expected to put their career on hold. Also, it's like the responsibility of the woman to carry the child.
Yeah, so you're like in a physical sport where, like, your body is like the machine.
Yeah,
completely changes.
Yeah. And it's also like you have no choice if that's the route you want to go, like having the kid yourself, right?
Yeah.
I just love that she decided to acknowledge that this reality that women can be at a disadvantage when entering the workforce, whether as a pro athlete or as a working mom, and just, like, being able to help those who are trying to reintegrate after starting their families is, like, or just, like, bring attention to it is such a start in the right direction. Also, we should say that FC Como actually announced, which is also a women's club, by the way.
Yeah.
In case you couldn't tell. They shared that Como women have vowed to only accept sponsors who commit to hiring their players once they've finished their sporting careers. So that means, like, for someone like Aaliyah in this case, it's like one of their sponsors could theoretically, like, help her get a job in one of their companies, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. You don't know what the rest of your career is going to look like. I feel like this kind of reminds me also of the conversation we had about the Olympic Committee that was trying to help Olympians and their futures post games.
Well, because everyone thinks of, like, the biggest stars.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, obviously they just got a job with, like, NBC or Fox or whatever, and they're commentating. And it's like, there's so many athletes that are, like, the lower tier that you don't even see or get the recognition they deserve. And then people are like, oh, you were an athlete? And it's like, yeah, I was, like, the best in the cricket league. It's just, like, cricket doesn't get televised and stuff like that.
It's pretty wild when you think about, like, I know this isn't in case you missed it, but just like it's pretty wild when you think about athletes. Like, what if they don't want to even be the face of anything? Yeah. But they are really talented at their sport. Like, they don't want like all that crazy NIL. They don't want to be a sponsor. They just like want to play.
It's kind of like Justin Herbert. He is the quarterback of the Chargers. He's like always hiding from the camera. He's like, I don't want to be the face of this team.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And it's just like we forget that those people are still really amazing athletes. But they just like maybe miss out on opportunities. So this is a really great story. I thought it was such a
There's one thing that I wanted to add because like obviously we're talking about the sports aspect of it, but this is like so real for so many women just in day-to-day life who are like, I don't feel like I can take a pause from my career because like I might lose, you know, the progress that I've been making or I can't afford the daycare that me and my husband want to go to or is or my partner, and it's like the most readily available one. And it reminded me of something that I saw recently, that the company Cakes, have you heard of them? They're like a nipple cover almost. Yes. They are paying their employees a monthly stipend of $3,000 a month for children under the public school age because childcare shouldn't cost you your career.
I mean, that's number one, amazing of them to do, but also number two, so terrible that this is what it has to come to.
And like less than 3% of companies do this. And so they were like, this is our initiative to like kind of challenge other companies. Yeah. Do it. And like people will want to work for you more. And also like it always falls on the woman.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. That's why it makes it kind of like a women's issue. Yeah. Honestly, 100%. Unfortunately. Yeah. Okay. Humble brag too. This reminds me of the Skims Show Us Your Leave campaign where like they showed their maternity leave package and like what we offer. Yeah. It sounds like I'm a PR person, but truly it was like such a cool and powerful campaign where they showed maternity leave, and then it inspired other companies to share what their leave policy is like, so that when moms are considering a new job or a job in general, like they know what to expect when it comes time 100%. To expand their family.
100%.
Boom bang.
Alrighty, shall we send it?
Let's send it.
I'm going to go first. The video that I have been obsessed with this week was Eagles' Jordan Mailata is singing Tennessee Whiskey to none other than Chris Stapleton himself. Now, Chris Stapleton has the voice of an angel. So, like, singing to him must be so intimidating.
I would be so scared.
Not for Jordan Mailata. No. He, like, the only thing I could think of was Nice Pipes to Mika from School of Rock because, oh my God, he was just so good, so smooth. It sounded incredible. I was like obsessed with his rendition.
Honestly, Chris looked a little like,
he was kind of shook.
Yeah.
But in like a good way.
Yeah. Also, famously, Jordyn he appears on the Eagles Christmas album, a Philly Special Christmas. Have you heard it?
Yeah.
I remember like before I even gave a shit about sports, I remember that video of like Jason Kelce and him singing whatever, it's a Christmas song, and I would get chills. Yeah. And I was like, who are these Eagles players?
They're so good.
That wasn't the Eagles entered my radar, actually.
Yeah. So very, very impressed, and props to Jordyn.
Yeah, I want that recorded. Okay, so we have to talk about the allegations about the Pope, and I'm not talking about any other allegations except for which team this new Pope Leo.
The 14th.
Yes, the 14th. Which team he's got allegiances with.
Yes.
Specifically in the baseball arena. But actually, so all week last week after he was announced as Pope, people were like, is he a White Sox fan? Is he a Cubs fan? Because he is from Chicago.
Yes. First American Pope.
Right.
Big deal.
Let us not forget.
Yeah.
But somebody on the internet, these people, the way they find things. So somebody found a clip from the 2005 World Series.
Insane. People are so insane.
I know. I'm like, I want as much free time as you have.
Yeah.
So Pope Leo is actually in the broadcast at the 2005 World Series where the White Sox are playing. So he is a certified White Sox fan.
Yeah, I think he has a White Sox hat on.
Yeah, and he is looking uneasy. He's just like, we need to pull it together. And if you just saw this clip any other day, like maybe like 3 weeks ago, you wouldn't even bat an eye. You just think he's like a regular dad or something, just watching some ball with his boy. Yeah, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. No, now he's 20 years later, the freaking Pope of the world.
Yeah, insane. And I just think that like people think of priests as like they never leave the church and they don't have real lives. And like the priest that's marrying Scott and I loves football, so we like chalk it up whenever we see each other, and we're always just like, oh, how'd your team do in the draft? Blah, 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 blah. And we're like yapping it up.
Gotta get him some tickets to the Jets game.
Yeah, but it's just like so funny how
Priests, they're just like us.
Stars, they're just like us. Okay, I have to talk about Natalia Mayara because she is a Paralympic tennis player who I can't even say like she served. Like she brought the most intricate, beautiful, well done rendition of a Cowboy Carter costume.
Oh, it was like
on tour when she was going to the show. Like pristine. Yeah.
It was
she
freaky
had
how,
the wig.
yes.
She had the cowboy hat. She even had, like, as she was in her wheelchair, she had like a little horse. It was so good, so funny, and so well done. She literally girl bossed so hard that she landed on Beyonce's website.
Wait, what?
Yes, a picture of her in her Cowboy Carter landed her on the website.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm going to see Cowboy Carter actually in like 2 weeks at MetLife.
Oh my God, you are?
I am. I got tickets.
Wow.
Yep. I got a cowboy hat. It lights up.
Oh.
It's not going to look like Natalia's though. Like,
are you going to wear a wig?
No.
I think you should.
I'm not really a costume person.
Says the girl who has a dress code for her birthday.
I know. Well, it's Halloween. Everyone's going to want to dress up, and I hate Halloween for that reason.
Okay.
Anyway, Natalia, you slayed. Yeah. I probably will not slay. Anyway, last sentence for the week is this moment from the recent KC Current game against Bay FC. So Jason Sudeikis and Brendan Hunt, who are 2 stars of Ted Lasso. Jason is, of course, Ted Lasso. Mm-hmm. Brendan plays Coach Beard. They, at the start of the game, the 2 of them helped lead the KC baby pregame chant. And they were like getting this stadium freaking riled up. They're like, I need your help. Come on with me now. 1, 2, 3, KC baby. I could not do it the same way. My voice is also still messed up from karaoke like
Classic.
Last week. KC ended up winning 4-1.
Love it.
Famously.
Yeah.
And actually, Jason was also spotted sporting a WNBA sweatshirt.
Oh, well,
the game.
I mean, that is our King Jason. He loves
Jason. He loves the Liberty.
And he loves the WNBA. He like
does.
wore the orange infamous WNBA hoodie everywhere for
That's
a
what
while.
he was wearing at the
yeah,
game.
He loves that thing.
He said, I watch women's sports.
Yes, he does.
I'm also going to a Liberty game on June 1st. And guess what? It's Ellie the Elephant's birthday.
Oh my God.
You know,
Are you going to make a sign? I think you should.
I should.
I think you really should.
Yeah.
We'll workshop it. We'll
Okay,
workshop it. Okay, so that's it. Who are you picking as your favorite sentence of the week?
I think the Pope, actually.
Wow, love that
Understated.
from you. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Natalia. It was so good. Her costume was so good. And I've never dressed up for a concert like that.
Same.
So
but she's inspiring me.
Yeah, so I really appreciate when people do. Because it's a lot of time and effort. So loved that.
So that's it for Send It, but it's time to introduce our guest for this week. She's one of our favorite content creators, host of the Sunday Sports Club podcast, and wife of former NFL player Isaac Rochelle. Let's bring in Allison Kuch.
All right, first, happy belated Mother's Day, Allison. How are you doing? How did you celebrate?
Well, I celebrated by honestly just taking time to myself. Laid by the pool, relaxed, didn't have to change any diapers, didn't have to feed any mouths. And very relaxing Mother's Day.
We saw that you did get a little gift from your husband Isaac, though. Can you please share with the class?
I was shocked. I started crying. My husband got me this Chanel extra large bag that you can basically fit a baby in. And I've told him I wanted that bag for like the past 10 years. So I was shook.
Was that like your first designer bag?
No, I mean, I don't know what drew me to it. I love bags. I will, like, if I have a designer bag, I'm going to bring it everywhere with me. I'm going to spill stuff in it. I am going to get it dirty because I don't want, like, you guys should see the inside of my, like, never full bag from Louis Vuitton because I spilt, like, a matcha drink. Like, it's disgusting. But I'm like, I'm not going to pay all this money and then not use it.
She's not a collector. She's not a collector.
I'm not a collector. No, I'm not a collector. You will never see a designer purse on the shelf ever.
Scotty won't be getting this because it's just going to be used. You know, it's getting its worth in.
Yes, I'm using it. That's what a bag is for. Not to look pretty. It's to be used. I took it to the beach last night and everyone was like, "Aren't you worried about the sand?" I was like, "No, I'm breaking her in."
I love that you're already like, "Getting girl, we're going to the beach. Like, come on."
Yeah, I fit a whole bottle of wine in there. I was like, this thing is huge.
See, practical usage. There we go.
Exactly. I'm like, wallet? No, that's not going to fit. Bottle of wine? Yes.
Yes. All right, you host the Sunday Sports Club podcast, and you have a whole Instagram account dedicated to it. It's kind of like a sports account for the girls. Why did you end up starting it?
So I started it back when my husband was still playing in the NFL, and I just saw this need for sports, but in a different way, like more consumable, less analytic stats. I feel like sports are fun, and some people make it really boring. So I thought, why not make sports a little bit more fun, kind of dumb it down a little bit, and just get down to the nitty gritty of what people actually want to hear. And so Sunday Sports Club was born.
Okay, and then it also has a podcast component because you are the host of the show, Sunday Sports Club podcast. So, but the thing is, like, you don't only talk about sports, which I love. I love that you actually talk about real things that affect women.
Yes.
You know, being a mom, being a partner to a professional athlete, even you get into like postpartum depression, like all these things that women just think about constantly that men probably never have even thought twice about. And I'm curious, like, why has it been important for you to kind of like combine the two into your one show? Like, talk about the shit that women deal with, but also talk about the sports and like what's your perspective around that?
Right. The first season I started recording the podcast, so the season it was born, Isaac, my husband, was playing in the NFL. So I was like, well, anything to do with my life has to do with sports, like in some way or another. Like me having to find an OBGYN in Las Vegas is because of my husband's job. And then once he retired and he wasn't playing this past season, I was like, well, like, do I not share about my life now? Like, what does that look like? And I, to put it very blatantly, I feel like being a mom is kind of like a sport.
Yeah.
So I was like, why not like just combine the two? I'll talk about my life because my life still has a lot to do with sports. My husband is pursuing like sports commentating, and I'm still very much in the sports world. And all of these wives of professional sports players or professional sports players who are women still have like this other side to them, and it impacts them as an athlete or them as a wife. And I feel like there's so much more to the story than just, oh, like my husband plays football and I look pretty and everything's great. No, like, let's talk about postpartum depression. Let's talk about how your husband is playing in a Sunday game when you gave birth on Saturday. Like, let's get down to the nitty gritty. And I feel like I have been loving that aspect of it because, again, sports by itself can be a little boring, but like add in all the behind the scenes and it becomes more interesting.
I mean, 100%. We've seen like the Taylor Swift effect draws like a whole new side of sports fandom because, hello, come on, that's what a lot of us are here for. We want to see the outfits, the popular celebrities, all of that. So I know you recently were starting a little postpartum project for yourself of finding things that kind of bring you joy, ways to get creative. This is a little twofold question. Did you find it hard to almost say, okay, I'm going to devote this time to myself and like be a little selfish, as you should? Because I know there's always like the mom guilt that people talk about. And do you have any idea of what those projects are going to consist of?
Yeah, initially I definitely did struggle with mom guilt because any time that I'm not spending with my daughter, I felt guilty. Like, well, I could be a better mom if I spent every waking second with her. But then I quickly realized that you can't pour from an empty cup, and it's really important to take that time for yourself. The first thing I remember doing for myself a few months after I had her was going to the gym. I felt like, wow, like I'm able to devote this time to myself. This is something that's good for me. I'm able to see other people. That's not just somebody who can't talk back to me. Like it was good for me. And so it kind of motivated me. Well, what else do I want to accomplish? Like aside from just going to the gym, I feel like any other thing that fills up your cup is good for you and your child or your children. And so the postpartum project is born. Things that I want to do in the postpartum project, I'm like, I want to get back into interior design. That's like what I went to college for. I haven't had time. So it's like really just making a pact with myself. Like, hey, you're going to be selfish a few hours a week. You're going to be able to do this. You're going to be able to do that. Because at the end of the day, it's like, oh, like I could do this tomorrow or I could do this. And it just gets lost. So me deciding and scheduling it out, I'm like, okay, we're in this.
Yeah. Holding yourself accountable almost.
Yes, I need to do that.
Yeah. I want to talk about just like I hate to call it a trap, but it feels like it is, just because like women fall into traps with being a mom sometimes, because once you become a mom, I'm famously not a mom, but anticipating that I want to have kids one day, and just like hearing you talk about your experience of becoming a mom, and like having just what you said, to have your special time to have projects now, right? Like people seeing being mom as being sometimes like your entire identity, even though we know as women, especially, that that's not the case. And, you know, instead of seeing you as Allison, the person, I'm curious, how has that shift been like for you since you became a mom? And even like being the partner of a professional athlete, what that shift has been like for you, especially because I know that your Instagram bio does say you are a 30-year-old teen mom, like very relatable. So what's it been like for you?
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey. I feel like initially I didn't like people putting me in a box or like trying to categorize me. So I always liked pushing the limits. Like, oh, I'm an NFL wife, but like, no, I paid to see my husband play football. Like, I don't get free tickets. Or, oh, I don't wear designer clothing to football games. Or, oh, my life doesn't look like this. And always pushing the boundary. And so now as a mom, I feel like I'm still trying to push that boundary that people say you can and can't do X, Y, and Z. And I just don't like that. I'm like, I think motherhood and just life in general, it's such an individual experience where you might look at somebody else being a mom as, okay, they're loving being a full-time mom, they're stay-at-home mom, they love that, they feel fulfilled. I know that I would kind of go stir crazy. So I like having a career outside of being a mom. That doesn't make me a bad mom. It just means we're different and we have different wants and needs. I'm not going to look at a stay-at-home mom and be like, ugh, like, yikes. No, because that's what they want to do. I think it's just a hard like concept for some people to grasp.
Right. Yeah. It's a choice. It's a choice. Also, wait, can I just pause on one thing you just said? I didn't realize that you had to pay for tickets to see your freaking husband play football. Are you serious?
Oh, yeah. Like $300 to watch my husband play football.
Am I naive? Like, what is that about?
No, no, very much so. So if you have family at games, it's like, well, it's $300 a ticket. It's honestly cheaper to go on like a website and find tickets.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh, okay, let me just get my husband's parents tickets off of like StubHub. Okay.
Legitimately. That's why whenever people were like, oh, can I get a ticket? I'm like, yeah, here's a link where you can go buy one.
Literally, you're like, yeah, here, let me text it to you.
Exactly.
Okay, hilarious that you also call yourself a teen mom, because a 30-year-old teen mom, because I refer to myself as a child bride. I'm getting married this summer, and my fiance said I'm not allowed to do that anymore, and I was like, okay, that's fair. But I feel like you're
people are gonna get the wrong idea.
Yeah, but I almost feel like you never feel ready enough. Like, do you feel that way with yourself?
I felt ready. I do believe that I came to the point where I was like, okay, I feel really good about where my career's at. I feel really good in my marriage. We had been married 2.5 years. We'd been together for 8. And I felt like something was missing in my life. So I was ready, and like the typical like, oh, are you ready for kids? Like I felt ready. But then when it comes down to like actually having a child, I was like, wait, whoa. Like this is what sex does? Like, what do you mean? Yeah. So I was a little shocked. And when you're pregnant, you're like, there's like a human inside. Reading the pregnancy test, I genuinely was like, I'm terrified. It's already inside of me and it has to come out somehow. Like this is not, I feel unwell.
Biology 101, guys.
Yeah. And like sex leads to babies apparently. So that was, it's like you think of it, you're like growing up, you're like, oh, I'm going to be a mom. I'm going to be a mom. And then when you see the test, you're like, oh, it's in there. Like,
yeah,
this is already happening.
Okay. The deed has been done.
Yeah, it's the deed has been done.
Yeah, very like intimidating, because I feel like, you know, you're ready for it, but it's like, am I old enough? Like, am I like supposed to be doing this, caring for another human kind of thing?
That's why yesterday we went to go get ice cream after we went to the beach, and people were like, oh, happy Mother's Day. And I was like, what if I'm the babysitter? Like, do I look old enough to like be her mom? Like, she looks like she's like 2 years old. Jeez, like I'm so young.
Yeah. You also shared in an episode of your podcast how you don't like the term wag. Now, I will preface, I work for the Jets, so I was always secretly hoping that Isaac was just like gonna somehow come on over to New York, because I was like, wow, Allison joining the WAG group, that would be incredible. I would get to see her on the sideline all the time. But can you tell our listeners kind of why you don't like that word and what kind of connotation comes with it in your mind?
I don't like the word because I'm like, I'm not just somebody's wife. Like, I am my own independent person. Now, I say that with like, I did profit off of being an NFL wife. Like, I did. I definitely exploited my husband. I made it my entire personality. Yeah, I'm like guilty. I made it my entire personality that my husband played in the NFL. But I feel like the term wag to me is like, oh, you don't have any hobbies. You don't have a job. I'm like, I have a full-blown, I've always had a full-blown career. I've always made my own income. And a wag to me, I was like, no, actually, Isaac is my husband. Like Isaac is, he's a content creator's husband or whatever. But I don't like get mad at the term. I just feel like I'm so much more than that.
Yes. I think it's totally contingent on like how people use it, because that there are people out there who are using it in like such a derogatory way. I'm curious because you did just say Isaac is the husband to a content creator. We talked about this on the show a couple weeks ago. The term HABs, husbands and boyfriends, especially with the surgence of women athletes. And I'm just curious, have you heard it being passed around in circles? I'm trying to make it a thing. I cannot confirm if it's going to become a thing. I'm going to try my damn hardest to make it a thing.
Blake is trying to make fetch happen.
Blake, stop trying to make fetch happen. No, I have never heard of the term, but I am fully behind it. I love that. And I feel like there are so many like prevalent women in sports. Now they're on social media. You get to see the behind the scenes of their life. And I'm like, I want to see what these HABs are doing. Like, where are they at on social media? The first HAB that shows like a day in the life of being a husband to a professional sports player, I'm like, you're going to go viral. So where are you at?
Do it.
We should be their business manager.
I know, right?
Honestly, we really should. We really should.
Yeah, call me up.
Do you stay in contact with a lot of like other partners of NFL players still, even though Isaac is retired now? Because I know you just had Olivia Culpo on your podcast, and she is about to give birth to their first child. So do you still keep in touch with that football family that you formed?
Definitely still keep in touch with wives and girlfriends of the NFL. I think just being in it for 7 years, I have a lot of experience and we moved a lot. So I feel like I'm pretty equipped when it comes to being able to like relate to somebody. So I definitely stay in touch, especially with the girls who more recently are in the past few years, just because I feel like that's where I really was like, oh, I'm struggling. I need to talk to somebody. You meet somebody for the first time and all of a sudden you're venting and you're crying and you're like, okay, this is a friendship blooming. But I definitely stay in touch, and it's fun because I get to relate, but now I'm like on the calmer side. So somebody can come to me, they're freaking out and I'm not freaking out back. I'm like, okay, like I just went to a yoga class and I'm in my house that I've lived in for longer than 6 months. Like, let's talk. Like, do you need me to come out? Do you need me to help? But that's one thing about the NFL I'm so grateful for, is like it gave us a community, but it also gave us this NFL family that we will always probably be a part of.
So true. And I'm curious because you just brought it up of like, how has that transition been like for being able to live in a house for longer than 6 months, being able to like have the same OBGYN and not have to like frantically search going on mom groups? Like, what's that been like?
I'm like kind of bored. I'm not gonna lie. I like chaos. I like moving. The idea that, because we love Orange County so much. We own our house here. We just finished renovating after 2 years. And yesterday we were on a bike ride and I was like, it's crazy to think that like we're going to live here for like the rest of our lives unless we choose to leave. But it's just a weird concept.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely a little boring. So I have been guilty of booking flights. I do want to travel and go and see things because I don't think I'm meant to live a calm life.
Yeah, once you get used to the chaos, like there's a controlled chaos that like is tolerable where you're like, okay, this is crazy, but I can do this. And then it becomes your norm.
Absolutely. And the craziest part of like now settling down and being calm is the fact that we have so much random shit that we've acquired in so many different cities. And the last few years of my husband's career, we ended up just like renting, doing like a house that was furnished. but somehow I still wanted to make it homey. And my background is interior design. So we had like 3 coffee tables, like random rugs. I'm like, okay, we need to sell everything and just start fresh.
Yeah, that's like too many choices are being thrown at you at that point.
I'm like, no, yeah, and decisions, like, please keep me out of them. After renovating a house, I'm done with decisions for a while.
Totally. I couldn't relate to you more. I'm in the wedding planning. I'm like, somebody just decide for me. I can't anymore.
Although there's going to be a post wedding planning blues where like the wedding's over and you're like, what do I do with all my free time?
Which sounds to me right now crazy, because I'm like, just get all of the decisions out of here. Like, I'm so over it. But I know everyone keeps telling me that, and I'm like, okay, sure.
Post wedding blues. Yep.
Okay, last one for you. So I know you kind of coined the term like getting your pink back, because postpartum, you were really in that journey of finding yourself, feeling more like yourself. And we were wondering, do you feel like you have finally gotten your pink back, or do you still feel like there's a little bit of work to be done in that, and it's kind of an ever-evolving project of yours?
I would say I'm like 80% there. Okay, I feel great. Like, I wake up in the morning, I'm motivated. I have things that are like bringing me joy. I would like to see that like 15% come in the next few months, and before like I choose to have a second baby, God willing, and before I jump into that. But I do feel like that there is like a little 5% of the pink that you like, I birthed a child. Like, I will be forever changed, and that's totally okay. I think I could be 100% as a mom. I could be 100% in myself, but I feel like in the pink, it's like you're always going to be giving a little piece of yourself to your kids, and not in a bad way. I love that. Right. Like, she can have some of my pink. She looks great in pink. She's so cute.
That's so cute. Wait, but before we continue, because I want for our listeners to understand, like, where does that phrase come from? Like, getting your pink back.
So my husband gifted me a sweatshirt, and it said like getting my pink back. She's on TikTok. Her name is Lindsay, and she started this brand called Getting Your Pink Back. I got gifted this right as I was entering postpartum depression, anxiety. I was entering the era. So I didn't really understand what it meant. But for those listening, getting your pink back is a flamingo. When it gives birth or it has an offspring, it loses its pink, and then gradually it gets its pink back. So now women have coined the term as like, oh, I'm getting my pink back. I'm getting like feeling more like myself again after childbirth and having a child.
I love that as like an imagery, just like thinking flamingo coming back to its old self. So now we're going to move on to sort of our more lighthearted question round that we're calling In the Pocket. This is the first time we're debuting the name. So just for starters, if you could join any sports team just for a day, which would it be, Allison?
If I could join any sports team for a day, Buffalo Bills.
Good one.
Say why.
They always, I love a diehard fan base. Love a diehard fan base.
Yeah. And Bills Mafia is special, jumping on all those tables.
Going to football games in like 6 feet of snow, built different.
Yeah, totally built different. Okay, if you could pick any song to be your walkout or your hype song, what would it be and why?
Oh my God. Some type of like feel good song, like Pocket Full of Sunshine, or something like upbeat, lighthearted. Although I feel like if I'm like playing a sport, that's not really going to get me into the mood. But we'll go with it.
Okay, I like that one. Okay, you're putting together your dream celebrity sports team. Who is your starting 5?
Okay. Let's break this down. I'm gonna say Isaac Rochelle, my husband.
Love it.
Obviously. I have to say that. 4 other people.
Could be like celebs for good vibes. Could be musicians. Okay. Whoever you want.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to put Joe Jonas, just because he's like, I feel like he'll have morale is high. Yes. Ellen Pompeo, because she's a badass woman. And if anybody gets hurt,
you know what I mean? Like, she'd be the voice of reason.
If anyone gets hurt, Oprah, because she'll, I don't know, be there.
Because she's Oprah.
So we have Isaac Rochelle, Joe Jonas, Oprah, Ellen Pompeo, and then my fifth person, we're going to say Obama. He seems like a very motivational speaker.
Love it. I actually feel like he's also like very sneaky good at basketball. I feel like that's a rumor that I've heard, that he like has played other presidents in the past, and I'm like, okay, Obama.
He looks athletic, more motivational. I feel like he could talk to a wall.
You have some really good vibes on your team.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't put him on my team, because I feel like my husband and him would talk a little too much. We'll create some ground rules and we'll go from there. Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Okay. Which NFL team are you and Isaac planning to root for now that he's retired?
The Los Angeles Chargers.
Okay.
Los Angeles Chargers for sure. I always have a special place in my heart for the Detroit Lions, just because I was born and raised a Lions fan.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Okay. If there were an Olympic event for parenting, what would be your gold medal skill?
Gold medal for parenting, I would say my skill would be not losing my shit.
I feel like is important.
If I am very overstimulated, I look at my husband and I say, I am overstimulated. I'm going to walk away. And it's been very healthy for me, my marriage, our dogs. It's healthy for everybody. Overstimulated, that's the word. And my husband's like, okay, I need to step in. Love it.
Wow, that's so impressive. I think I need to start incorporating that into my day-to-day, and then like maybe that will prepare me for taking care of other humans, because I'm already like easily overstimulated.
My husband allows me time. I say I need to go disassociate, and he literally allows me to go lay down in bed and like actually disassociate into my phone, forget about life for a second, and I come back and I'm like, that was great.
Yep, that's why we love them. All right, what is your favorite game day wine and food pairing?
Ooh, okay. Game day wine. Obviously wine from Barefoot, because they have the best wine. I go between red and white. If it's a night game, red.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
If it's a day game, white. And then a hot dog goes with both of those.
Oh, you just made Blake's day.
Hot dog and Barefoot wine.
Listen, I also have been loving like a Caesar salad and a fry. You know, like the two polar opposites.
I can get behind that. Yeah.
Gorgeous. Okay. Between you and Isaac, we're just going to ask you a couple. These are actual rapid fire questions. Between you and Isaac, who's better at cooking?
Isaac.
Cleaning the house.
Me.
Dressing Scotty.
100% me.
I've seen some of his outfits. They're questionable.
No, my babysitter knows that who dresses her based off of her outfit. We'll work on it.
Okay. Who is better at the bedtime routine?
We're 50-50. Very 50-50, which I am thankful for.
Okay, board games.
I cheat. So I
love an honest woman.
Yeah, I am a cheater. I definitely cheat.
It's fine. It's fine. We'll go with you.
Yeah.
And then like athleticism / sports in general, if we're excluding football.
Yes.
I'm like, how good actually is he at football? Because he's just like big. But like in terms of like, yeah, you can tackle somebody, but I'm like, can you even throw a football? I don't think I've ever seen him throw a football. He's going to disagree, obviously, but I'm going to say me. I'm pretty athletic. And I think I could probably throw a football better than him. Me.
I also feel like because you're 6 feet tall, like there's also natural athleticism in you. I like to look at like the football players on the field sometimes and be like, I think I could do that.
Literally, that's my toxic trait. I'm like, I could probably do that. I'm like, why did you not catch that ball? I literally
like it's hard.
That. Yeah. That's embarrassing.
Well, Allison, thank you so much for joining us today. This is such a cute little kiki. Where can people find you on social media? Where can people listen to your podcast? And where can people find out more about Barefoot Wines?
Yes. So people can find me at Allison Kuch on all forms of social media, Sunday Sports Club podcast, on podcast and Instagram. And I'm like, physically, you guys can probably find me on the couch with a bottle of Barefoot wine, watching some type of sports, anything. So yeah, if you guys are interested to learn more about Barefoot Wine, head over to the website, but highly recommend.
We love it. Awesome. Thanks so much, Allison. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
I loved talking to Allison Kuch. I felt like I was a fangirl and like trying to be cool the whole time. So she was just an absolute joy.
She made me laugh so much.
So much. She was so funny. And like that's her brand. You know, she's just very authentically herself. And also so happy for her and her new Chanel bag. I need that.
I would love to.
I'm going to actually tell Scott that that's what I want for my push present.
Oh.
Again, famously not pregnant. However, I will be brainstorming push presents.
I like that one.
Yeah.
It was a massive bag. You guys should check it out.
Could literally fit a child, as she said.
Yes. Anyway, that's it for this week's episode of Well Played, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back in the studio next Tuesday with another episode. Make sure you're subscribed to the show on YouTube, Apple, Spotify. Please leave us a review. It helps us so much.
And DM us. Let us know your feedback. We really want to hear from you. I appreciate every DM I get. I usually answer most of them.
Same.
If not all.
And send us your send-its, too.
Yeah. That was another one.
They get included in the show. They really do.
They really do. Alrighty. Well, until next time, thanks for listening to Well Played.
The only podcast in a league of its own.